The famous song by Crush.
We've lost a lot of data in the last month.
There's a lot of changes going on in terms of data privacy. Trackability is getting much harder. It's a very data-heavy tool. It really needs data scientists fully working on it.
Does it make you lose sort of trust in the platform?
If we don't have a piece of data that says it was involved, it's hard to trust.
Welcome back, guys. You are listening to Have You Heard? I am joined today by the wonderful Jakub Zorawski.
Hello.
And we have a new guest for the day. It's our Lauren's first appearance with us. And this is Lauren. Could you
Hello.
introduce yourself?
Hi, I've just joined the Social Shepherd as a paid media director and looking forward to being on many more podcasts.
Amazing stuff. Well, lovely to have you on the podcast. Today we have a very interesting topic to talk about. MMM.
The famous song by Crush. Test dummies.
Exactly. What is it? It's mixed media modeling.
Marketing mix modeling or media mix modeling.
Whatever just applies. Yeah. Marketing mix modeling.
Marketing mix modeling, which has just come back into the fray again. So I think it's it's been around for a while. I know within the marketing space in terms of measuring and as a measurement solution, it's been around for a while. But actually, its involvement in the space has not necessarily been as required because of the level of trackability that we've had kind of up to this date. Now, I guess for all the listeners kind of who aren't aware at the moment, there's a lot of changes going on in terms of data privacy, with consent mode being introduced, and also cookies being sunsetted. So trackability is naturally getting much harder 100%. And much more difficult.
I think
for
it's
us
going to be a
marketers.
theme of 2024 in a sense of, losing an element of data in 2024 and then losing an element of being able to attribute sales, any sort of performance goals to actual channels that have delivered them.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you guys say have been kind of like the main challenges that we've had so far with consent mode, with cookies going away?
Well, recently consent mode's really seen a drop off in anything we can track, especially through GA. So we've lost a lot of data in the last month or so, which is quite an immediate problem.
Yeah, I think what we're realizing is kind of, and as part of the immediate impact is kind of a combination between actually the consent mode implementation itself, and how that cookie banner appears on the site. I think historically, cookie banners you kind of wanted to tuck away in the corner of your website, especially if you had quite an aesthetically pleasing website. You didn't want a cookie banner appearing and trying to kind of, I guess, ruin that aesthetic look. But actually, best practice now, because of the way consent mode works, you need the user to be able to accept or decline for that, the tracking to be able to be set. So if you hide your consent banner in the corner and the user carries on browsing through your site, you're just not going to be able to track them at all. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of an ongoing issue that I think one that we're definitely communicating to clients with at the moment is making sure that your cookie banner is massively prominent within the middle of the screen. So a user is exactly. You're forcing a user to kind of make that interaction before they're able to start browsing on the site. So it's an interesting change in the way that kind of we're having to approach it from a website standpoint.
I think a big problem with the big cookie banner as well is that people now know more than they used to. So people are choosing to decline, whereas in the past they didn't really care or know, so they would just opt in.
Continue to browse. Yeah, 100%. And then just to Lauren's point, I guess on trackability, that is 100% going to be like the theme of the year again. Although with consent mode, we have had the conversations with Google that they say it's not them in a sense of like consent mode isn't really causing this. It's just really fine tuning the consent or respecting the consent element of users' journey that is actually causing the change, which is something that we were preparing ourselves for, but I don't think like the industry potentially did realize how big of an impact that might have on advertising. That is why the triple M, or however you want to call it, is making waves now. It was really like a TV thing to be marketing mix modern. It wasn't really like a digital paid media thing, because we had it all. You just log into Universal Analytics or into your platform, and then you saw all the sales and all the channels that drove them. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, we're definitely coming out the back end of the golden age of tracking now, I think.
Yeah.
iOS 14 started it, and it's just been a bit of a decline since
Meta
then.
must be laughing as well, because they obviously were like going through those challenges with iOS 14,
Yeah.
and they were like called out at loss of trackability, and now Google is, well, as a platform, I guess, sort of facing the same sort of challenges. So I think Mark and the team must be chuckled a bit.
Yeah, for sure. So on to MMM, media mix modeling. Jakub, you made a really good point there that it was kind of traditionally used for kind of that real wider scale media buying in terms of TV, print, out of home, where you could almost measure the impact on your bottom line by inputting all of those different kind of medias.
The data, really. What it is just data. And I think MMM by principle or element of it is something that every advertiser that buys media in a country or wherever just did. Maybe part of that was just not named as marketing mix modeling or whatever. But now it's coming back in a sense of like it will probably be wider used in the industry. Which is, again, by principle, I think very smart. But then, interestingly, I had a conversation with someone on the team just most recently, how that impacts and who does actually, that challenge in 24 impact the most. And I think agencies are in a very sort of intricate position because, yes, we want to deliver goals to our clients, which is obviously the primary objective of our day-to-day. But at the same time, we also have a very, very, very important goal internally of attributing our work to a certain objective to prove out to our clients that actually it's Google Ads or PPC or paid social that has delivered that single purchase or that single lead, which is obviously now that when we have 30-40% of less of data that we record in is becoming bigger of a challenge.
Yeah, for sure. So I think one of the things that, certainly the more that we've kind of been, I guess, looking into MMM is kind of the how it's measured, which is really kind of built off the back of statistical modeling. So it's a very data heavy tool and kind of really needs data scientists fully working on it to really get the most out of it and make sure that it's kind of painting the fullest picture out the back end of it. So I guess from that standpoint, historically, the way that we have tracked has been very, this is what we're able to see, and kind of this is actually what's happening right now. Whereas obviously using MMM is looking at more of a statistical modeling, which there's elements of that we're seeing within the tracking at the moment, particularly within GA4. Yeah. I think with consent mode implementation, there's obviously some level of statistical modeling that's going on in the back end there to kind of model out those missed conversions that we're kind of missing from consent mode being implemented.
Yeah. All very interesting. Like, does it make you lose like trust in a platform? You said, Laura, that you feel like you've lost an element of data that you can report actually. Does it make you lose sort of the trust in the platform itself?
I guess when you can't see it, then it is really hard to say that it had an impact. I saw a good analogy that it's like a football team. So you've only got one person on a football team that's going to score a goal, but everybody just knows that the rest of the team was involved. Whereas for some reason with marketing, if we don't have a piece of data that says it was involved, it's hard to trust that it actually played a part in it.
Yeah. That I feel is the element of cheekiness of every sort of media platform. We're going to probably cover that topic as well with how media platforms actually help tackle that challenge. But we're in this together from that perspective because we want to continue to spend on Google, Meta, Pinterest, TikTok, and they also want us to continue to spend on those platforms. So I think, there has to be an element, of togetherness, of working together towards still incentivizing clients or pushing clients to, well, now maybe continue to like scale or grow in the sense of investment, because that isn't a guarantee always, but there is there going to be, or there can be an element of lack of trust in paid media as a sort of whole in terms of like platform use if we don't work towards, like a wider landscape of trackability, of attributability.
And we know that we need brand awareness. Every brand knows they need brand awareness, but how can you prove that the money put into that stage of the funnel is actually driving their sales is really difficult.
I guess with any brand awareness, any marketer that would have tried brand awareness previously is, I think, better equipped to those conversations today, because then that was an actual challenge, even from paid media perspective, to make the client realize, or anyone really, that the brand awareness has an impact, and how to quantify that impact as well. Yeah,
I think, one of the benefits really of MMM is because it's statistically modeled out. It's actually a really good tool for forecasting what potential spend is going to be doing going forward, which at the moment, you've got forecasting tools available within individual platforms, but that again only gives you the impact of what those individual platforms are going to have rather than the wider marketing mix in terms of everything that you're kind of spending on from a marketing standpoint. I think it's really interesting to see how this is going to develop within the space, and how and whether that's going to change the way that we're forecasting with all of the kind of tools that we've got available to us, and whether we kind of pull it back to an MMM model, which is looking at things on a very similar attribution model to understand the impact of what, any incremental pound that you're going to be spending is going to have on your bottom line.
I think that's why, the media platforms have already been and are going to continue to invest in some triple M solutions. We just recently had Google launch Meridian. We saw Meta launch Robin a while back. I think it was 2022 when they did that. And there's probably more coming our way. There's obviously third-party MMM solutions, MMM. That's 3 M's for us. Solutions already in the market that we can use. But I think, again, think of triple M with the intention to continue to spend in paid, and think of all the good stuff that paid did for you, all the good stuff that TSS have done for you, my favorite client on the other side of the camera lens, because we're going to have to, and we want to have to, we want to still continue to invest in those platforms. They will continue to achieve for you. There will be an element of lack of trackability of those results, granted, but still, there's going to be, that's why there's going to be solutions in triple M space to, like you said, sort of focus a bit, or get a better overview of how the money and how the investment works towards your performance objective.
Yeah, for sure. So Meridian and Robin are obviously the two that you've mentioned there, Jay-Z, for Google and Meta. We've seen early access come out for Meridian on Google. So we've submitted a form for us to try and get access to it. We'll see whether that comes through, and hopefully we do get access and we can have a bit of a play around with it.
Another episode of the podcast.
Yeah, and then that obviously we can come back and speak to the listeners again around what we've managed to find out from utilizing the tool and what impacts we feel like we're gonna have with that. But it's a really interesting development within the industry. The fact that we're kind of almost going back a little bit to kind of older ways of measurement, just because of so many data privacy changes that are happening, particularly across Europe, that we've got to take into consideration.
I like that though. I like the challenge.
Yeah, I think the impact of them coming out from these huge companies with all the data as well should mean that they're really equipped to handle the problem, whereas a traditional modelling is quite static and doesn't really have the kind of real-time feed in that hopefully these ones will bring.
Yeah, I wonder if it will help, because historically Triple M would have had a limitation of like trying to forecast what is happening in the market actually. And I wonder if the case of Google or Meta launching their own Triple M's will help identify trends via like a meta sort of study of multiple accounts connected to those Triple M's to try to forecast, behavior between ads or behavior between campaigns, or behavior between industries, or in industry behavior between markets. Into that element of forecasting your behavior, your results based on your investment. Yeah.
Thanks very much for listening, guys. I think we're going to wait to hear back from Google to see whether we get access to Meridian, but hoping that we do, and then we can come back onto a future podcast to kind of keep you guys updated with everything going on from that front. But yeah, like I said, thank you very much for listening. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks very much.
Bye.